27, 2018. This meeting is being video recorded and televised live on Rowley Community Media. The first order of the business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill, would you care to lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have a 7 o'clock appointment with the Harbor Master, Bill Demento. We will have public comment from 7:10 to 7:15. Here it is. Okay, we have a letter from Bill to the Selectmen. I am recommending that we provide David S. Kent. David?
Yes.
Currently Assistant Harbor Master, to the new open position of Deputy Harbor Master, effective immediately, and then request that we suspend the hiring freeze to hire a replacement for David's current position of Assistant Harbor Master. All of this without increasing the budget and overhead to town residents. Okay?
That is correct.
Anything else you want to add? Either one?
No, gentlemen, David has worked with me since 1980 on the Harbor Master Department, and he's been a great help in many times of great need, both physically, mentally, and emergency-wise. So happy to move in the direction where I would be having David be appointed deputy in the department and having him assist with the daily duties of the Harbor Master.
Okay. David, anything you want to say? Or?
I welcome the opportunity. You know, I've been doing it for so long, and I enjoy doing it. Enjoy working for the town, taking care of the equipment. You know, we do a lot of our own with the boats, and a lot of it is a lot of time spent that, you know, is well worth it. But you know, we try to work with the budget that we have and come up with, you know, the best equipment that we can use within those guidelines. So I appreciate the you know, the support from Bill and, you know, promoting me to Deputy Harbor Master.
Anyone else? Anything, sir?
I just want to say that, you know, over the years that I've been around, and Bill's done it. I think you've been the only harbor master I've ever known since I've been in town.
1979.
79, so
Took over for John Lyle.
okay, John was here before that, but done a great job. And between you and you know, people like yourselves, we certainly more than get our money's worth out of what you do for the town, running the river and the harbor master. All the guys that volunteer, people, not just men, but men and women that volunteer and help you out, putting out the buoys, taking them in, running the boats, patrolling out there, and helping each other out. We really don't get many complaints at all out of that whole harbor master operation down there. So we'd like to commend you and all your people and say thank you very much for what you do for those people that boat. I don't have a boat myself, but those people that boat, and for the citizens that, you know, we're getting the maximum for the money we spend down there, that's for sure. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the compliment. It's I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I look at it as part of my community service to some extent. Obviously I don't do it for the paycheck, and I never really have. I've enjoyed growing up in the town and consider myself lucky to grow up in the town and helping the community over the years the way that we've been able to, with a great team. David and Fred and Frank Price. We did have one other assistant on board who had to resign 6 years ago. He moved away on to other things, but a great team is what makes the difference, as you know. And I've been privileged to work with a lot of great people. The volunteers in this town are second to none on the river, and step up every year. Whether or not I guarantee a sunny day or not, they're always there, even though I try to guarantee sunny days. It doesn't always work. We had to, since 1979, we actually had to cancel on the day of because it was just way too windy and the tide never went out for us to mark the river. So that was the first time we ever canceled. And it was 2 years ago in the spring, I believe. But we've enjoyed it, and thank you for all of your support over the years. We try to ask for as little money as possible to run a safe operation, one that can provide safe and emergency services as well as patrol services. We are pretty frugal with our monies, as you know. Used boats, occasionally a new piece of equipment in the engine, but we try to make the money go as far as we can. Again, thank you.
A lot of people don't understand, you know, the first day you have to mark the river, because the river changes over the winter. A lot of people don't understand that.
I've
So
seen a lot of changes in that river since
I bet.
I started boating at age 12 on that river.
Wow.
Underneath Ruth Alexander's nose, who acted like a second grandmother to me and taught me the importance of the environment and water. And look at where we are today.
Mm.
We see how important water is.
Yeah.
For sure.
So hopefully Ruth is looking down, smiling at us.
Well, good. Okay, so we need a motion to appoint David to the open position
Give me
of
the
Deputy
motion.
Harbor
I'll
Master.
second.
It's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it. And now we need a motion to suspend the hiring freeze to hire a replacement.
Give me the motion.
Second.
All, it's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Great.
Great,
Good
thank
luck.
you.
Thanks for,
Thank you, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations on your.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.
Bill, good to see you.
Bill, good job always.
All in there.
Oh, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Robert, we'll see you at the top.
So we're looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye now.
Good night.
Okay, we have a 7:15 appointment with Kate Crowther from Verdant Medical for the signing of the letter of support and host agreement for a registered medical marijuana dispensary and cultivation facility at 124 Newburyport Turnpike. Same cast of characters.
Same
I
cast of
Hello
characters.
again. It's deja vu. So I guess we talked about, I guess at our last meeting, we voted to give you our support, and now you're coming back for the signing of the host agreement. Is there anything you want to say about the agreement before we go to that? Is that pretty
Absolutely.
self-explanatory?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. A fairly standard, fully compliant agreement here that I think demonstrates that we are interested in being committed partners to the community, and that we intend to be in it for the long haul. Not only through community impact fees, but also through local hiring, local vendors, and other kind of reliance on the surrounding community to make sure that our investment is something that the entire community can be proud of and benefit from.
Sure.
If you have any particular questions?
Well, I just want to go through the fees, and
Absolutely.
if I say anything that's wrong, please correct me, but it seems like you, for a 5-year period, you will be paying a 3% fee on gross sales
Mhm.
for the medical component and the recreational component.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, since your project also includes a cultivation center that will be providing marijuana to other places, you will pay a 1% fee on the gross sales of the marijuana that's grown at that facility.
Absolutely,
Is that right?
yes.
I just had one question. How does that work for, I think you said the last time that you're going to have 3 retail centers.
Mhm.
I forget which towns the other 2 are located. One's Raleigh and
Provincetown and Boston.
Provincetown. Now, if you supply Provincetown with marijuana from your cultivation facility, will there be a 1% fee from that?
There will not be, because it's all, we're essentially, it's an internal operation. It's a vertically integrated operation at that point.
Mhm.
So we would not be selling it to someone else
Okay.
and then bringing it.
But if you sold it to, say, Springfield?
Absolutely, you would get the 1%, correct.
Right, and any place other than those other 2 places?
Exactly, yes. Correct.
Okay. So, anyone have questions about that?
I'd like to make a statement. It's very interesting being at the last meeting, and we, as a former city councilor, I know how difficult the budget time frame is, and I'm really happy that we get to partner with you in a way that we can add and bring additional revenue and essentially the success of Verdon will also be the success of Rowley. And I definitely plan on being successful, you can look forward to that success benefiting all. In particular, from the education side, as we heard last week, a brand new facility, but really needing the dollars to maintain that facility. So I just really look forward to partnering. And then I guess the last thing I would say is that in addition to what we have on the table, we still want to have an open and connected relationship if there are other things that do come up along the way.
Sure. Okay.
Very good.
Okay, so we need to vote to authorize me to sign the letter of support. So will someone make a motion to that effect?
Give it that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And then we need a motion to authorize, what was this?
I think the whole board has.
The whole board. The board needs a vote to sign the host agreement. So someone make a motion to that effect.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we need to sign in two places, the two agreements.
Public comment period or something.
Just a quick question, you might be able to answer. The paper last week had some stories about post agreements that are above and beyond what the law states. Is there you have any updates or any information on that, or?
Yeah, it's a bit of an ongoing debate amongst the commission. Although I think the majority of the commission feels, but to paraphrase their words, as if local municipalities should abide by the rules that are set forth in the regulations and the statute. They also feel as if they shouldn't be the arbitrator, if you will, of contractual deals that are made outside of the realm of their purview, right? They don't want to hurt applicants who are unwilling to sign them by denying them, right? But similarly, they also don't want them to propagate. So it's a bit of a challenge to them, and I think it's not the last we'll hear of them, although the commission did vote 4-1 not to, essentially not to review them.
Right. It sounded like the big companies were trying to push out the smaller people
Yeah.
in a competition for space and communities.
It becomes challenging, especially for companies that have started up in the medical process already.
And they still haven't got the labs. They okayed the labs, but the labs still can't sell. I mean, I know you guys, it'll be a while before you're open, but
Yeah,
it
so
sounds like everything is kind of going very slowly in terms of.
it is going slowly,
Final
but I
sales.
think slow is good in this case because it gives the opportunity to do it right and deliberately. So they did authorize, I believe, 2 labs to move forward.
Okay.
Which should give the green light to others who are going through, architectural review pretty soon.
Have you made your appointments with the planning board, or
Oh, we have not yet, no.
not yet?
But I think Tito was a bit excited. I did catch a press clip with WBUR and it talking about his excitement about, in particular, the partnership with Rowley. So we're
good.
excited. We're excited to move forward, and you'll be hearing from us on that special permit soon, site plan review.
And Rowley is obviously special because it's the one place that we will be cultivating. So that relationship, there's actually no retail operation without cultivation. So
Well, we're
So I
happy
think
to see-
Provincetown and Boston were clapping a little too when we hear that.
Well, from our perspective too, by creating a building and developing a building on a lot, it's certainly tax money above and beyond whatever the marijuana situation is,
Mr.
so.
Chairman, we can have Mr. Jackson, the CEO, sign if you'd like,
Yeah,
or
sure.
we could.
I think we do, we actually are required to have a vote of the board to
Okay.
authorize
Oh, okay.
to sign
Okay.
under these
All right.
provisions.
Okay.
But if you send it to us, we can have that vote
Okay.
within 48
Sure.
hours and
Okay.
send it back, if that's okay.
No, it's great that you're making a
Good.
substantial investment in our town above and beyond the retail aspects, the
Yeah.
cultivation facilities is a good thing for the town, I think.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you
Thank
all
you.
so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Yeah,
We are
for
very
coming in.
excited.
Thank you.
If you wanna, you can email it on over to.
welcome to Raleigh.
Yeah.
Thank
And then I'll have them.
We want to ag
Thank you very much. We're spending a lot of time.
Let me know.
You had dessert there, right, Patty?
Thank you so much. Good to see you. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Welcome to Raleigh.
Thank you. Pleasure to see you.
Okay, I'll start the public comment period. It'll last 5 minutes. Bernie,
Can I make a statement?
this is what the period is for.
Okay. All right, so.
State your name, please, for the
It's
folks at
Bernard
home.
Cullen, 283 Weathersfield Street. School starts next week, and I believe many of them beginning processes are already underway in terms of teacher meetings, etc. So unlike previous years, I think we should make sure that Triton is addressing the budget process and beginning now. As soon as their census becomes clear, how many students they're going to have, then I think they should be in a position to start their own budget planning process, and that we shouldn't have to wait till the end of October, or the current practice is essentially the beginning of January the following year. That's left us in a very difficult situation as the town begins its own budget process. Hopefully that means if we start early, they'll get us about a budget earlier as well, even though it may well be provisional, because obviously there are dependencies in terms of what the state is going to come up with. The second thing is typically we've gone at this budget on our own. I mean, Rowley talks to Triton, Salisbury talks to Triton, Newbury talks to Triton. That hasn't worked. That clearly hasn't worked. It didn't work last year in terms of the need to do override. So I understand that we've started the process to try and coordinate the efforts for the three towns to kind of get a general consensus as to how much money the towns can actually afford, what money is going to be legitimately on the table, and that Triton should kind of hear that loud and clear and build their budget process around the funding ability of the three towns. And so I just urge the Board of Selectmen to kind of continue what I understand is an initial process to kind of talk to the other two towns and kind of get a general position going forward, and sooner rather than later, so that we're not playing behind the 8 ball, and that we get Triton to respond to us frequently with information and sooner rather than later.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our next appointment is at 7:30. So I'll take up general business number 1, which is a request from Essex County Greenbelt Association to hold a road cycling event on September 29, 2018, for their annual road cycling event to come through Raleigh. The event will travel along Route 1A in Raleigh. The police chief, fire chief, health agent, and highway surveyor have reviewed this request and do not have any questions or concerns. I think you've approved these in previous years. There have been no problem. I want to make a motion to approve the event.
Make that motion.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. General business number 2 is a request from the highway surveyor, Patrick Snow, to lift the hiring freeze for a seasonal laborer position. The seasonal position in the highway department normally runs for an 8 to 12 week period from approximately late June through late August for 20 hours per week. This position was not posted this summer. Patrick is requesting that the hiring freeze be lifted now for this position, which would run from approximately mid-September through mid-December. In addition to the regular duties of mowing, trimming, brush cutting, and seeding, the seasonal laborer will assist with paving, shoulder work, drainage repairs, and masonry. You want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Any seconds?
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. I'll take up new business number 1, which is set meeting schedule for September, October, November, December. The proposed meeting schedule for the next 4 months is as follows. Basically, it looks like every Monday except for federal holidays, up until December 31. Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Any seconds?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
All-
Just a comment
Yep.
that we're gonna go 3 weeks from December 17th until January without meeting.
Because of Christmas break and
Yep.
New Year's Eve, right? Yep. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? The ayes have it. New business number 2 is to accept a donation from the Great Marsh Garden Club of plantings and stonework for the town cemetery Star Garden. The Great Marsh Garden Club is disbanding and want to donate plants and stonework to the town cemetery garden. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote on behalf of the town to accept the in-kind donation from the club. Anyone want to make a motion to
Mr. Chairman,
approve?
just a
Yep.
brief explanation. In other words, this has been, we got a letter previously that they are disbanding. They have a fair amount of money they've raised over the years, and apparently they're not allowed to donate money to the town. Therefore, they'd like to donate, pay for services to be done, and what they really want to do is improve the Star Garden.
Right.
The Veteran Star Garden. And then, depending on what money they have left from that, they'll look at other, maybe the gazebo or somewhere else in town to donate the money to. So, Cemetery Commission's in agreement with that. It's just a matter of us accepting the donation, and then we can move forward.
Great. Okay, someone made a motion to approve it?
I'll give you the motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Moving on to old business. Old business number 1 is to sign a contract with Vanessy Hangen Bruceland, Inc. for the Town of Rowley Bridges and Culverts Conditions Plan. During the July 6th meeting, the board voted to award the civil engineering contract for the Bridges and Culverts Conditions Plan to VHB in the amount of $24,750. Development of this plan is being paid for using funds granted to the town as part of the Community Compact Agreement. We have 2 originals of the contract between the town and VHB for completion of the conditions plan. We need to vote to sign that contract.
Give me the motion.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? The ayes have it. And this is to be signed by all of us. There's 2 copies, okay.
Thank you. Joe?
Yep. 2 copies.
Yep.
I'll just do it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
Okay.
Great. Okay, move on to old business number 2, which is an update on the recycling center. The board met with James Motzkin, the president of JRM Recycling and Hauling, at our last meeting. We asked Debbie to work out an agreement with JRM on keeping the recycling center open through the end of the year. Debbie has worked out an agreement to continue the recycling services to the town for $2,800 per month through December 31. We have $14,000 left in the budget line, so the funds will last through the end of the calendar year. The last 2 months, June and July, were over $4,000 per month. If the board is in agreement to continue with JRM through the end of the year, we will need to vote on this. Any comment?
Mr. Chairman, just, I know we had a long discussion before, I don't want to hold things up, but I think the public needs to realize that the recycling center is coming to an end. I mean, we're thankful to JRM for basically losing money through the end of the calendar year, and we've had a good relationship with them. They've done an excellent job, and we certainly appreciate the fact that they're extending the contract for that kind of money. But people have to realize that there was an article in the Newburyport News. There's been a number of articles, but last week there was a West Newbury confronts the change in the recycling market, and they're going to be looking for $50,000 to keep on recycling, although when you read through the article, recycling basically at this point is a losing proposition. And I've recycled, I'm not against recycling. I've been recycling ever since. I think most of us have, if not all of us, since the center opened or when we moved into town. So we're not against recycling, but it's just become economically unfeasible, and many communities at this point are giving up on it altogether. So we're thankful we can keep it going. And just an example, I got a friend who lives in Salisbury, and they have Mellow picks up their trash and their recycling. They pay $29.50 a month for the trash pickup, and they pay $17 a month for recycling pickup at their house. So people need to understand that the days of free recycling are gone, absolutely gone. We either pay it through the tax rate or you pay it through your bill at home. So keeping that in mind, we're very fortunate that we can keep this thing going. We would ask people to cooperate and put the right things in the right bins out there. It makes it a lot easier. JRM's given us a deal, so there's one bin for cans and bottles. There's a couple of bins for newspapers and 1 or 2 bins for basically plastic. So the biggest problem is we have no security out there during the week. We're unable to lock it, keep it secured, so the people come in during the week, and when there's an attendant there, they tend to dump. The attendant makes sure that they pretty much puts the right stuff in the right bins. During the week, we lose control. People dump in whatever bin they want. I guess in many cases, you go there and take a look, and one of the examples that in the article on West Newbury is, and Mello says it, that if people put their recycled plastics in a plastic market basket bag and throw it into the dumpster, because it's in a market basket bag that's not recyclable, even though it's plastic, those kinds of bags are not recyclable in the same sense that bottles and cans are. All they do at the recycling center when they dump it into their big bins is throw it, the whole thing goes into trash. So make sure that if you're going to recycle cans, plastic bottles, those kinds of things, put them in individually. Don't put them in plastic bags. If you're going to do cardboard, fold it up. Don't leave the boxes open. I go over there during the week. I swing in there once or twice a week to check it, and there'll be large boxes delivered by post office or UPS or whatever, and people don't even bother to fold them up. They just throw them in the dumpster whole, which takes up an awful lot of room. And once again, if the attendant's there on the weekend, he makes them cut them up or fold them up. So it's important. People really need to start thinking about recycling in terms of what the costs are going to be when we close the center, and help us out by properly recycling all the materials that they're leaving there. So that's it.
Yeah, I noticed on Facebook recently someone posted pics of 4 or 5 pics of the people inappropriate, dumping into the bins. There was one photograph of essentially a bag full of trash that was in a bin. There's a photograph of a lot of glass that had simply been dumped into the cardboard bin, and then there was a kid's toy, sitting by the side of the bin for someone that just left off. I mean, it's unfortunate that there are some people that do these things, but, that's the reality.
And the other thing, Mr. Chairman, is keep in mind that if we want to reopen this recycling center, if the market turns around or people really want to do it, before we can reopen it again after December 31st, we really need to have a secure site so that we can tightly regulate, because that's, and going forward, in the old days, we used to recycle green glass, white glass, certain types of plastic, and so on and so forth, and then we got to commingle everything, and now it's going back the other way again, and so everything's going to have to be separated. So that's why it's essential that people put the right items in the right bins now. It helps out JRM, who's bending over backwards to help us, and we need to show them a little appreciation by recycling the proper products in the proper bin. So thank you.
Okay, so we need a vote to continue the recycling operations at a cost of $2,800 per month until December 31.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we're ready for our 7:30 appointment. With Michael Crow.
Yes.
Good evening. You're here to discuss a right of first refusal granted on September 22, 2014 for Chapter 61, Section 8, Parcel 23 on Assessor's Map 9 for the Marion Way 40B project. So this is a parcel that the board has already voted to waive the right of first refusal on, right?
That's correct.
So, okay, if you explain why you...
So the reason we're here is in the process of going through the Board of Appeals, because this was issued 4 years ago, and that I am a successor purchaser. They were questioning the validity of that vote and waiver that you've issued previously.
Right.
And just wanted something on record so that there wasn't a holdup or a stoppage at some point in the future by somebody else questioning it and not having it validated.
Right. I mean, I recall at the time that we got input from, as we usually do, from the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board, and I'm not sure who else, but they both said that there was no real interest in the town purchasing this parcel. In fact, the town doesn't have the money to purchase this parcel even if we wanted to. So it seems to me we can just go ahead and grant the waiver.
I would
Renew the waiver,
agree.
essentially.
Right.
Or just indicate that the waiver is valid. I'm not sure if, the legality of what your process is, other than, my attorney who wrote that has indicated he believes that the waiver is still valid.
Yeah, I
that was
think it is
issued.
too, right.
Right.
So,
And that's, I guess, all that they would need to hear, whether it be in a short letter from you saying that the Board of Selectmen believe that the initial waiver is still valid.
I think that would be fine. Does anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, that was easy.
That was very easy. Would that be something that would be issued during the course of the week or next week or something?
And we were trying to get that done expeditiously and have the chairman sign it.
Okay.
And address it to the ZBA or to you.
I guess to the ZBA would probably be appropriate, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next appointment is at 7:45. So I'll go to old business number 3, which is a Pine Grove School project update. You may recall that at prior meetings, we approved the purchase of equipment items after much deliberation to be paid for out of the owner's construction contingency line. We did not approve, something in addition to that has come up. For one of the vendors, which is the music vendor, there's a $888 delivery fee that we have not specifically approved. So if if the school is going to receive equipment from that vendor, which is for the music room, such as large music stand card, a riser, and a piano, etc., the board will need to approve that $888 fee, delivery fee. And talking to Chip and Larry Berger about this, they had indicated that they usually try to get vendors and suppliers to waive delivery fees, but they weren't able to do that in this case probably because the amount that's being purchased from this one vendor is fairly small. It's only $6,900. So there's a delivery fee that I think has to be paid. So need a motion to approve that.
I'll give you the motion to pay the $888 freight and handling.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay.
Just a comment about the progress of the
Oh, yeah, right,
school.
right.
Today, I believe, was the first day for the new teachers to arrive, and that tomorrow the full staff will be there. And as I was talking to a few friends earlier at the construction meeting, W.T. Rich pointed out that they have approximately 60 to 90 employees working at the site each day, and we're expecting about 70 teachers to arrive tomorrow, so it will be busy at the Pine Grove School tomorrow. There is a lot of work being done, and they are running behind at the all-purpose room. The all-purpose room, and because it's connected to the kitchen will also be delayed, and that will be delayed until December.
Yeah, just a comment. We did get an inquiry from the Youth Soccer League about the soccer field being available for use along with some parking behind the Pine Grove School. I took a ride over there today, and I also talked to Joe the other day and got back to Tim Southall. And after next weekend, the soccer fields will be available for youth soccer use, as they have been in the past. There will be parking over there. I would just caution people, because of the construction equipment and the fencing and so on and so forth, just to use caution and be careful over there. But though, as promised by the building committee, that the field would be available for use this fall, and it looks good. They've mowed it and it's green. We had plenty of rain, so it looks pretty good over there. So just be careful when you're using it for those parents going in and coaches, etc. But it is available, and good luck with your fall season.
Okay, so finally, just note that paving has been completed at the school, so the buses now have access to the school. Bernie?
A couple of points. One is, so my understanding was that the kitchens were going to be delayed until October.
Right.
And now it's not until, it's delayed until December.
Right.
And
They're hoping to have it done before then, but that's the date that we're going by.
So
what you
is there
prepared for.
another, the first reason for the delay was the termite
It's just-
issues
yeah.
and the necessary reconstruction. Has there been an additional delay?
No,
or-
it's the same problem, termites, and the need for reconstructing those, I forget what they call them, pillars, whatever you want to
Right.
call them. But the problem has been with Capco, which is actually located right here in Rowley, they steel fabricating company. It's going to take them longer to fabricate the steel than people had initially hoped or expected, so that's the reason for the delay.
So
It's not a new problem,
Does that
it's the
have
same.
budget implications?
Not that I know of. I mean, the delay, I don't think the delay is going to cost any more money than what otherwise we would have to pay.
Right, and just following on from the notion that there's all these people working in the school, but presumably they'll be working to kind of meet the timeline. What are the implications for parking longer term, both for teachers and for parents once school really begins? I mean, what plan is there, or can there be, for managing that?
Well, I think we're talking about the second shift, right?
Right.
So,
And
So
phase two is on time, and it is moving along according to the schedule. There will be parking, but it will be somewhat limited The paving has been done in the front of the school. The only thing is that we were hoping that they would have the access for the buses around to the back of the school, so that would eliminate the safety hazard of having the buses and the cars in front. But they were not able to get that set up for the buses to go around to the back. So that will be delayed a little bit.
So when school starts, then that's going to be a tricky logistics issue of moving
For a while.
buses and cars around?
But there will be enough space at the front of the school for the cars to enter and exit and for vehicles to enter.
There is I was over there today, there is quite a bit of parking available in the back of the building.
Yeah,
There
right.
is pavement over there, they just
Right.
haven't got it ready for the buses.
They're parking, but not.
But there's quite a bit of parking. It's gonna be like the police and fire up there with the Eris Park. It's gonna be kind of a tight year, and everybody's gonna have to be careful, use caution, and do the best they can. There's no way around it. Difficult situation, but
Right.
it's progressing.
So is
Okay.
there going to be police presence then, at least for the first few days, to make sure that there's no...
That's up to the school department.
They did talk about having a detail in the mornings for, what was it, a couple of weeks or so?
Yes, because of the new entrance at the front of the school will not have been installed for the first day of school, which is September 4th, next Tuesday.
Right.
And so it will be installed within 2 weeks. But they will have under the construction terms, they will have a police officer maintaining a detail at the front door to let people have access to the building.
Okay, moving on to old business number 4, which is an update on the fire station, the police station addition project. The new septic system has been installed, the drywall is being installed in the police station, roof shingles continue to be installed. The project is on schedule. Anything else you want to add, Dave?
No, everything's moving along. They're basically on schedule, and at this point, everything is going along without any major problems or difficulties.
When's it open?
Police station should be open the first week in January. The fire station will be open, it's scheduled to be open about 3 weeks later than that, although I think the fire chief is planning on making the major move probably in March before he actually moves over there. But a lot of it depends on what the winter weather is at that time when the move is to take place. So it's on schedule, that's the original schedule was January 1st. And it's pretty much going to be available at that time.
Okay, we'll take up the minutes. We have minutes for July 16. Joe Perry was absent from that meeting.
Give me a motion, Mr. Chairman, for July 16 to accept the minutes.
Any seconds?
Second?
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Abstain.
Okay, we're close enough to 7:45. We have an appointment with Steve Morris, the President and Treasurer of the Rowley Veterans Association Board of Directors, to discuss status of application for a change of manager and change of beneficial interest. Is Mr. Morris here tonight?
Mr. Morris is in traffic. He works at Hanscom Air Force Base and had to return to work later in the afternoon. He's past Topsfield Fairground, probably less than 10 minutes away.
Okay, well, we're almost done here, but, your name is, just for the record?
My name is Cormac O'Neill.
Okay, well, we talked about it previously. We need an application for a change of manager
Yes, sir.
to reflect the new manager. At the August 13th meeting, it was stated that an application would be submitted the following day. We haven't yet received
That's
that.
true. I was also advised to get some help with it, make sure it's done properly. So I did that, and then in the interim, we also received a letter saying the Board of Directors over is not up to date. So we had to
Right.
get signatures to get that paperwork done.
Right.
And we should have that Wednesday and everything after that.
Okay, so the ABCC does have an application for multiple amendments, which could be used to apply for both the change in manager and change in beneficial interest.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's gonna be done soon?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay,
Thank you.
please get it done. We don't wanna have to do this again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Covered everything.
That's it.
Okay, announcements. The pool at the YMCA Camp Cedar Mill on Weathersfield Street in Rowley is open for the summer season. The pool is free for Rowley residents. The hours are Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and on weekends from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The YMCA anticipates that September 2, 2018 will be the last day at the pool will be open for the season. The town has the following vacancies: Agricultural Commission Associate, Cultural Council, Council on Aging, Fence Viewer, Wood, Lumber, and Bark Inspector, Zoning Board of Appeals Associates, Parks and Recreation Committee, 1 seat, and Deputy Shellfish Constables, 2 positions. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 948-2372. The Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations. Donations can be left at the Rowley Public Library. The food pantry is open on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Motion to adjourn?
Give me that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned.